Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of The Life of a Creator. I think that's what I called it. I will write it down one of these days in my notebook so that as I write this or as I speak this, I know exactly what this is. One day. Not today, though.
Through the trees, my song will call out for you.
So, this video is about, oh man, being your most authentic self. If you're a creator of any type, and I believe that we are all creators, that's what humans do in no matter what kind of way, whether it is artistic or it's just creating a beautiful life for you and your family, etc., etc. Problem solving is artistic, but finding your most authentic self, your most authentic voice in each moment in which you create a thing is so important. And well, I'll tell you what, it's real hard to forget the voices and the critiques and the criticism that you imagine that the rest of the world is going to lay on whatever it is that you do, and just do it in the fullness of yourself. It's a very difficult thing. But here's something that I think is sort of like what's been keeping me more grounded. I tell you, I am working on that big musical project that I have right now, and it has been difficult for me to even just kind of sit here and do it, to sit here and allow my brain to just brain, to think of the story that I want to tell, the nuances of it, the grandness of it. But I keep telling myself, you just gotta be your weirdo little self, because that's what this is. This is the expression of my brain and all of its weirdness, its wondrousness, its all the influence that I've had my entire life. That's what's getting filtered through me right now. So it's not even almost that it's me that's coming out of this story. It's everything that has ever had an influence over me in my entire life, which is every artist's sort of paradigm, I guess you could say. But you have to be in the acknowledgement and the sort of like really seated in the power of you, and understand that those things had an influence on you because they made you feel something. They made you feel some sort of truth, a universal truth maybe, or maybe a truth that feels very personal to you. It can be both, right? That you need to pour through your own lens, pour through your own brush, your own voice, your own words, and make it into the art that you want to see in the world, the exact kind of story that you want in the world. And you don't get to have that story in the world unless you're the one who writes it, you're the one who paints it, you're the one who sings it, It's funny because I'm going into this stuff about, bringing your stories and your, the visions that you have, the things that you want to see in the world out through you. And when I wrote my notes were mostly about sort of like, be the weirdest version of yourself, be so grounded into all of the things that you love. And this video is still going to be about that for sure, but I did not expect this stuff to come out. This sort of authenticity of experience, of who it is that you are, of all the people that you have been in your life and how that has led you to this moment here and to the ideas that want to come through you. So very cool. Love that for us. So getting sort of back on track with my notes about being your weirdo little self, part of this is also understanding that you and your work And whatever it is that you put out in the world is not going to be palatable for everyone. You are not going to please everyone. Trying to appeal to the widest audience possible is a sure way to make something incredibly bland and sort of almost meaningless, devoid of meaning. You see this a lot with very, very large, we won't name names today, but very large companies who are making media and who are making media that is just so audience tested that it becomes just the grayest piece of meat that's ever been cooked in the world. And it is not appetizing. It is not, I mean, I guess it sustains you because it's still something, but it's not anything that really feeds the soul, that really connects into, again, these universal truths, these truths that we all recognize when we see them. And when they are laid out for us in a way that is so beautiful and so touching, can have an even bigger impact because of that, right? Storytelling is so important. So in order for you yourself, as a story of a human, but also as a person who is making art in the world, to be the most magnetic to the people who will be called into your work possible, you have to repel a lot of other people, right? It's the magnets, the north and south poles of the magnets, right? You will call in who it is you're meant to call in, but you will also repel those who are not either matching your same frequency. I'm hearing that song. Is somebody gonna match my freak? People who can't quite hear it. It's like tuning in on a radio, right? And you know, that person over there, they can dial into that station, but like when I go to it, I'm just getting static and I'm not receiving it well, right? That's just it. That's just it. You cannot have like all of the audience in the entire world. It wouldn't make sense because there's over 8 billion of us. We are all on very different sort of journeys in our life. We have all different experiences in our lives, and we have all these sort of patterns and textures and sounds and harmonies and poetry that speaks directly to me because of those experiences, because of the life that I've lived, that you might be saying something that is profound to somebody else, but it won't really land for me in the same way. And when you have 8 billion people on this planet, yes, there's a lot of overlap in sort of like cultural understanding of story and art and things like that, societal understanding of those things. You know, it's impossible to tickle that itch, that artistic itch of the people viewing your stuff, experiencing your art. It's impossible. It's impossible. So the main focus is to be the most authentically you as you make your art and put your visions into reality, because then you are going to be able to resonate so deeply with those who resonate deeply, who are meant to resonate deeply with your work, instead of just having some fluffy piece of sort of like nothingness that is like, I'm seeing cotton candy actually. It's like cotton candy. It's just sugar, you know, and it could have some bright colors, I guess, but it's like, it's nothing. It's not really sustenance. It's not food. It's one note. It doesn't give you anything of any real meaning. I don't particularly have a memory of like, oh, cotton candy. There's this one time I had cotton candy and it was amazing. But do I have memories of meals that were like outstanding? Yes. Yes, I do. Because they were just something so extraordinary to me. They hit all the flavor spots on my tongue that I love being hit in a way that probably was like really intriguing and different. And I never knew there could be something like this before. So you got to do that. You got to cook with your art, and you have to use your own interpretation of the spicings for the art that you make in your life. And again, not everybody is going to like that. Their palettes are not meant for that, but those who do will really, really like it because you are just being exactly who you are as you make this art. You're not questioning yourself. You're not trying to appeal to everybody's palette for this. You are just being you. And again, that is the most magnetic thing you could be. Another impact I believe that being very authentically yourself has beyond just you yourself is the way that I kept on like imagining us being tiles that would go into a mosaic, okay, in community with each other, because that's what we are as humans. That's what we are as beings on this planet. Even if we weren't humans, we'd still be animals or trees in community with other animals and trees and the environments around us, right? I imagine us as tiles. And if you look at like the tile work in mosques and stuff like that, this gorgeous, beautiful, such vibrant colors, okay, and patterns, the texture of it's extraordinary, okay? It is so extraordinary to look at and to be within. But I imagine each one of us is our own tile. And wouldn't you want your tile to be the most vibrant color that you resonate on, the color frequency that you resonate on, so that the entire mosaic can be this just absolutely stunning, wonderful experience for any who look upon it? And even that, I'm also seeing sort of like, you know, your tile might not stand out if somebody is stepping back looking at it, because again, this is 8 billion people. This is 8 billion tile pieces, right? But when somebody zooms in on an area that they really like and you're part of that area, your tile is going to just be wonderful and harmonize with the community of tiles around it, right? I think that community cohesion happens better when we're not all trying to fit in a limited amount of boxes, but when we are able to allow ourselves to be as free as possible, as expressive as possible. And of course, that doesn't mean that you ignore some of the sort of like community building dances that we do together that we all sort of have to learn the steps to. But also, you can make your own flourishes as you do that dance, that social dance with each other, whatever sort of communication that needs to happen. You know, I'm thinking of just like, what's like old-timey, just simple community things that happen, and it's going to be like meetings together to figure out what the community wants to do together. And so that, and like weddings or celebrations or funerals, and like, you know, the things that are sort of core to how we are with each other, no matter what culture, no matter what society we live within, no matter where we are on this planet, these things that are just at the core of being a communal species, those things, again, yes, know those dances. It is a good thing to be in community with people in those ways that are like usual or regular, common occurrences, right? So know that dance, but again, you can make your own flourishes in that dance. Learn to dance first, obviously. It's like learning any sort of art. You learn the technique first, whether you're self-taught or you go get tutoring or to school or whatever. You learn the techniques and then you get to sort of find your voice within those techniques, right? So I think the thing about this is that being able to sit in your own sort of power of who you are in this life, your power of who this person you have been built to be in this life, when you are able to sit in the power of you and you leave behind the ideas that you have to please everybody, that you have to worry about other people's critiques, you know, as long as you're not hurting anybody, be free. Be free. Follow your curiosity. You know, you unchain yourself to be able to dance as freely as you want to. We know those societal dances, but also each of us has our own individual dance that we have that we should express in this life. And it makes life so much more interesting, so much more beautiful to celebrate and see so many people just following their own heart's desires and making the world into what their heart desires the world to be. So please go be your fully authentic self. Just start doing whatever. Start telling stories that your heart is telling you to tell. Go start telling the stories that your heart wants to explore and make real in this world. The stories that will change this world, because we know that our art changes the world, the way that people see things. And that can't happen if you're not digging deep and finding the very core of truth of who you are and what you want in this world. Thank you so much for being with me here today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.